impression of Darth Vader.
So, you guys ready to start?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Good evening, and welcome to Apotheosis, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition homebrew campaign. I am Mick, your Tranquil DM, and my serene players tonight are the Stoic Wolf, Sean, playing Grey Song of Alaneth.
For the last time, Chauncey, my personal sketchbook is not your diary.
We have the Gentle Giant, Eric, playing Zachris the Strong.
This one is called Zachris.
The Beast, ready to pounce, Aaron, playing Chauncey Hackenstone.
A 6-ton monster with spikes and a giant tentacle growing out of its face. It sounds way creepier than elephants actually are.
And petting his anxiety support rabbit, we have Rich playing LK Forgnath.
What a fascinating phenomenon.
Eric R., who plays Kranari, won't be with us tonight. I will put that in my new... I will explain what Kranari is doing in my new downtime segment. But first, some credits. We are sponsored tonight by Roll20, Roll20 Spotlight. Check out roll20.net for Roll20, Roll20, Roll20. We have some art by Sean from directly below me. Music by Will Savino and filmmusic.io. We have some amazing maps and tokens by 2 Minute Tabletop. Ross is a Australian artist, and right now on his site, 2minutetabletop.com, he's donating all of February's proceeds from his Australian Billabong map and map variants to the Australian Animal Rescue Cooperative fundraiser. He's already raised $3,000, so go check out his site and take a look at his maps and consider picking up his Billabong map. I just realized now that I've never heard the word Billabong before, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
That sounds right.
That's correct.
I was thinking maybe it's Spanish Billabong, but that all doesn't make sense because it's Australian. Downtime. Last week.
Wait.
Yeah.
So, you gave credit to all these other people, and you did not give credit to yourself, so I'm going to call you out for the artwork that you have created for the character portraits here, as well as the layout and all the other things. So Mick is very talented. You should go check out his Patreon as well.
Thank you very much. I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah, check out my Patreon if you'd like some special behind-the-scenes footage and and notes and magic items. I completely forgot to put that in my description, so thank you. So downtime. You guys last week you guys got to Iefri and finally found a base of operations. Essentially, the Inquiration has given you a dormitory of sorts, a little 5-room small housing unit attached to the Inquiration building that you might spend some time. Chauncey, so for viewers, I asked you guys what I wanted to do, or what you wanted to do between sessions. Chauncey, you spent your week working on a batch of alchemical lesser elixirs of life. You got some assistance from the Alchemists Guild in the basement of the Inquiration HQ, and you rolled a critical success, creating 4 elixirs for 9 gold worth of materials. I
figure they don't like me cutting into them anymore, so...
You also met another alchemist of the guild, a sensate gnome named Shimi. She seemed to enjoy your company. While she assisted you in your work, she also played a bunch of pranks on you, which evened out to a +0 in her assistance rolls.
I'll get my revenge. Don't you, Werdy?
LK, you spent time in the Inquiration library, deciphering the runes on your brother's ring. Kranari spent half of their downtime assisting you, and succeeding, giving you a +1, resulting in you getting exactly a critical success. You find a small scroll almost discarded in a pile of scrolls on baking. And you find etchings of other known runes in this this scroll, discovering that the Romer runes are indeed the same as your ring's runes. It's a constructed language, similar to how holy symbols are built, but you find no definitive resource on their meanings. Though the scroll you discovered did give you many leads. Your research is still ongoing, but you're confident the ring has more answers if you spend more time on it. In the meantime, it acts as a safe roamer for you, even while worn around your neck. Any questions or notes on that? You're muted, by the way.
Shoot. Sorry. About the constructed nature of the language, is there anything that I need to know about that, kind of like mechanically for now, or will we discover more kind of going forward with research?
You'll discover more going through
Okay.
research, yeah.
Yep. Okay. No, I'm good.
Kranari spent half of their time assisting you. They also spent some time getting acquainted with Iefre's political structure. They succeeded on gathering information, learning that the city has a 43-member council, all from different factions and walks of life. Before you guys leave on today's adventure, Kranari would tell you that most creatures are taken as equals in Iefre, though the law can't really apply equally in all cases because, like, water elementals are banned from fire elemental hospitals because, yeah, and a being of sunlight walking along the vampiric corridor could get arrested. Effectively, the guards give a lot of leeway in terms of being ignorant of laws, as long as you're not being actively malicious. And Kranari has a +1 on future checks for Iefren laws. Zachris...
Have you managed to write down all 43 of those?
No, I have not. Zachris spent the week learning about the Ignal Suzerainty. They are a transplanar organization following one demigod, which they call the Polymarch, and they believe him to be the protector of all planes. At least the sort of most pious members think that he's the protector of all planes. Other people just think it's a good faction and want to work with it. They typically ask natives of a plane to become protectorates under the suzerainty. They maintain their own sovereignty, but gain the suzerainty's protection from other planar hostilities. You succeeded in meeting some of them, including a Ignal general, an Azer named Odbar. She was pretty impressed with you, and invited you to become a free agent for the suzerainty, allowing you to keep the sword and shield and travel with your party in return to pledge to protect any protectorate planes you happen to be on. Do you agree to those terms?
Zacharias will agree.
Excellent. You probably agree, like, the last day before going on the next adventure, because I imagine Kranari would have a lot of things to say about this.
I'm sure.
But they're not here, so,
That's right.
Greysong, you spent the week also in the library, but for a different purpose than Elke. You said you were looking for details on your patron. Unfortunately, you didn't find too much information of use, though you did learn of two factions that have a powerful fae as their demigod. The Sunflowers are a small cult primarily composed of nymphs who seek to, quote, sow felicity throughout the cosmos. And there's also a capricious faction of trickster fae called the Tregators, neither of which have a known presence in Iefre. Your own attempts to contact your Archfey in typical fashion have been unsuccessful, which is not incredibly strange because she's kind of contacts when she feels like it. But you definitely sense something about those paintings that you purchased from Atia. They just look too real to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and at some point in time, I will probably contact LK and ask for just an objective opinion about whether he sees anything unusual. I'm not going to, like, really go in detail, but Greysong would ask LK to see if he sees a theme amongst them other than style.
Yeah. LK, do you want to make me an Arcana check?
I will absolutely make you an Arcana check. He's been hanging out in a library for like 6 days. He's got to learn something. +1 from the hat still applies. Yeah.
Nice. So you You do notice something that Greysong doesn't notice. Each of these places seem to be a... I don't even know how to put it, but they have a shape to them. Some of them are like a waterfall that kind of hits rocks in certain ways, creating an almost arcane symbol. All of these paintings have one of these symbols kind of in the composition.
This is fascinating. And okay, would start kind of picking through it and come, Greysong, look here. And he would start kind of identifying and drawing them out, perhaps over a traced piece of paper, and then would kind of hand them to Greysong.
Yeah.
Can I get a fix on the nature of the arcane symbols themselves?
Not really. They kind of range. But I would say a conjuration would be the theme there. But that's sort of a theme everywhere because the planes are full of transplanar conjuration.
Right. Okay. I think there may be more to these, Greysong. I can certainly take down some notes and do some research. I'm looking into a constructed language of my own I've found here. There might be similarities.
I would be most interested in whatever you could find on the subject.
Oh, I realized that I still have the post-pregame chat open. Whoops. We're not in that anymore. So, you guys can definitely spend some more time working on that next downtime. For now, for all of you, Vama Hargava and Aliska have been assisting you in whatever capacities they can. Aliska gave you that dormitory, and in exchange, she's asked you to do a couple tasks for the Inquiration. These sort of tasks, she's tailored to sort of give you guys the opportunity to explore and further your own goals while helping the Inquiration itself. Today's task, you've been asked to assist two of her agents in delivering a roamer to a monastery on a quiet little plain called the Tranquil summit of Khanom. The agents, Rangrim and Mahar, are experienced explorers, and Aliska will sheepishly admit that they don't really need your guys' help with this, but it's a good way for her to gauge your abilities on the field.
Before we get going, did you happen to hear from Toots? Tatsuya?
She hasn't. There's been no response with that, though she has sent out a couple agents to go looking. I forgot who Toots was.
Would her partner, I forgot his name, is he around by any chance?
Garrick, no, neither of them have shown up. It's been on Aliska's mind, but she hasn't really heard back from any of the people she sent out. We join our heroes in Khanom. First, I want to describe the men you are traveling with. We have Rangrim, let's see, he's a tall man, long blonde hair and an easy smile. You actually realize that he is an Azamar. He has some unnaturally blue eyes, and on his hip he has a collection of sword hilts sheathed in belt loops, but with no actual sword blades coming from them. His traveling companion is Mahar, a smaller man, shorter, long brown hair. Unlike Rangrim, he has a much more tired vibe. He's very pale, deep blue rings under his eyes. He has deep burgundy robes with a collection of magical amulets around his neck. They both kind of exude confidence going into this plane. The plane seems similar to the material plane for you guys. Sorry, Rich, were you saying something?
Nope.
Okay, I saw your mouth moving and I wasn't sure if you muted. So the plane is similar to the material plane. You're in a pine forest on a mountain, though with a distinctly reduced gravity. You feel the slight chill of high altitude, and there's little sounds other than the crunch of gravel road beneath your feet, and a gentle breeze carrying the smell of pine trees and fresh snow. Greysong, you in particular notice one thing. While the trees and the path that you're following seem to be sort of naturally formed, they actually almost appear to follow a pattern, as if they've been placed with an artistic eye for composition. Glob will report from the lantern that this plane is minorly law-aligned, and offensive emotion magic is impeded, calming and sleep effects are enhanced, and low gravity. I just realized that when I did these handouts, I didn't actually show them to the class. So, you guys are now traveling on this path. Rangrim has the roamer in his backpack, and you guys are sort of marching along.
You said there's snow as well?
Just a light sprinkling of snow.
Okay. Greysong probably is a little bit more at ease.
You said there's low gravity from what I'm reading.
Yes.
Like how low? Chauncey's like jumping as high as he can.
Yeah, you can jump like, I don't know how high people can jump. Probably like 8 feet high.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will. I'm going to take the ring and tie it to Harvey inside the hat. I'm just going to tie it onto his kind of collar and around him. So Harvey's going to have the ring physically sitting on him. It is range based, correct? Or do I have to be wearing it?
It is range based, but it is a range of
Super small.
let's see, 10-foot radius.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
When Chauncey jumps up,
30 feet.
Zachary will try to grab him, thinking that he's going to just disappear off into the air.
Thanks for watching me back. So I managed to make a few of these little elixirs. Which one of you would like one?
Zacharias would like to try one. Yes.
Well, hold
What
off
does it do?
hold off until emergencies. But it'll close your wounds, give you a little it's a pick me up.
Zacharias can pick you up, yes. But what does it do?
You know what I do when I stab you or bandage a wound?
Oh, yes.
All that.
Zacharias like that. Good.
Mick, any sense that there has been traffic through here?
So there's a sort of a stone path. It looks like it's been traveled fairly recently. Do you want to make a survival check, get some more info?
Let's see, survival.
So I'm putting Chauncey's magic elixir as an item.
26. You think that looks like humans walk along this path probably once a week. Nice. Lesser elixir. One thing that I should, before we did any of this, I should have asked is, who is holding what roamer?
I've got the kerchief, so...
Okay, you've got the kerchief. That one is only protects
Personal.
you.
Yeah.
There is a bracer that has 100 feet radius, and a horn with 300 feet.
I think we gave the bracer away, didn't we?
No,
That was before we got here,
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
So, LK, you've got your ring.
Yep.
So there's the horn and the bracer.
They're both roamers?
Yes. The horn is gives allies bonus to AC and saving throws if they blow into it, and has a massive 300-foot radius. Whereas the bracer is lets you cast shield and gives you 100 feet radius.
Kind of feels like the bracer should go to Zacharias and the horn should go to Chauncey, since Chauncey's been blowing whistles The horn seems in theme.
Yep. And then who's got the lantern?
I believe you had it.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
you
I thought
still.
you did.
The
So-
one with Goober in it.
Yeah, so
Yep.
you can hold onto the lantern and tie the ring to Harvey. That way.
Yep. So rings on
up.
Harvey's kind of neck, and then it's just so if he goes off, he can be personally protected.
So what does the shield spell actually do?
It
Happen?
as a single action lets you cast or lets you sort of raise a shield.
You cast, you gain
Oh.
1 AC.
Yeah,
So
I think
and gain
Because I
access
think
to
we gave it
action.
to brace on. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
What
we
was
were
that?
the bracer. I think we were thinking it might be more beneficial for you to.
I had the kerchief, I thought.
Because Zachary
Oh.
already has a shield, and so the shield spell
Yeah.
is kind of useless.
Yeah, my
you've
shield.
got a way better shield.
Yeah,
So
really.
the
good.
bracer
Yeah.
would be better for either Chauncey or Grayson. That's for sure. Because LK has this shield spell.
Yeah.
Maybe this was the. Did we have the Ifrin Romer's kerchief, or was that the old one, and I just didn't copy down the bracers?
You guys had one that you gave to Tsutoya, but it wasn't a bracer. It wasn't Ephron.
Okay.
So the Ephron ones were just given to you last week.
Right.
Yeah, because the kerchief is the one that casts invisibility, which was the reason I took that one.
Well, why don't? How about Chauncey take the? Chauncey can take bracer.
The bracer.
And then, yeah,
Okay.
And then you take the horn.
yeah, and I can grab the horn. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the most important thing is protecting you from the vacuum of space around you.
Yeah. Any negative effects that might occur. Sure.
So Glob is just like, wow, I've never seen snow before. I've never seen a lot of things before. I feel light. Do you guys feel light?
Snow is quite common where I'm from.
Can I get a look at Mahar's amulets as we're kind of walking along?
Yeah, but they're sort of pasted to his chest. Well, not pasted to his chest, but
You went hardcore.
he probably gives you a little wink and says you gotta buy me a drink first.
First of all, do I see any of the symbols on any of those amulets that would be of interest to me? If not, then you wouldn't even pay attention.
They're definitely magical, but none of them are really related to any of the things you're looking at. One of them is a roamer, but otherwise the rest seem to be protective in nature.
Fair enough.
So, this is your first time going through the plains, huh?
We've a little bit of experience moving between planes. Surely not as much as you two, though.
Rangrim sort of smiles and it's like, well, if you're gonna be listening to the, if you're gonna be part of the Inquiration, you should learn to be prepared for stuff. Like this! And he hucks a snowball at you, LK.
LK will, almost, with a unimpressed face, take it in the face. Let it kind of melt in his face. He's kind of like, indeed.
Good. He's got fortitude. That's important. And a sense of humor. So, where are you guys from?
Well, that's a good question. I actually had a query if you'd ever heard of where we had come from. Do you have much familiarity with the material plane?
Material plane, of course. Everyone has. Most of the planes were created by people from the material plane, but it's a far-off place. It's inconsequential. Occasionally, a new plane appears somewhere, but it's not really something we think about.
Have you ever heard of anybody traveling to or from the material plane?
Well, like I said, sometimes new planes prop up. First-generation buggers from the plains, but I don't know any of them personally.
Is there anything unique about a newly born plane, as opposed to an established one? Some vestige of its connection to where it came from, perhaps.
They're usually made by whoever that demigod is that's made it. Some kind of in their image. This one that we're standing in, it's kind of like, I think they worship the mountain itself. They worshipped it enough that it became a god on its own and created this plane here. He says, slowly shifting to a southern accent.
Intriguing. Enough worship brought it into existence. I'll have to take that down for further discussion with Kranari.
There's all sorts of different ways that something could become big enough, important enough to become a demigod. But it's not really my area of expertise. Mahar also just kind of shrugs. Do you guys got any other questions for us?
Yeah,
I
like
suppose-
what kind of workout do you do to get those shoulders like that?
I was born with these kinds of things. These I was about to call them guns, but I guess it's not guns. These crossbows. It's part of my Azamar heritage, I guess. Father was an angel kin. He was massive, he was. Don't know how my mother handled it.
Well, do you do anything special to get your hair that luscious?
And he kind of shakes it around, and Mahar just kind of snorts. And
And it's
he's
just immediately slow motions.
like, no, I just try and bathe once a week. Just comes naturally to me.
Disgusted at that idea. This guy's an idiot. I'm out.
Yeah, do you guys have any other questions for them or comments?
Is there anything that you might impress upon new travelers in the plains? Perhaps tricks of the trade, things that might keep us safe, things that we might be foolish to do.
Ramgrim sort of turns to Mahar, and Mahar's like, well, you're supposed to do your research, learn what you can before you go. Prepare for anything. Rangrim's not very good at that. And they give each other like a knowing glance, and Rangrim kind of rolls his eyes a bit. Speaking of which, what kind of gear do you have on you? And he kind of looks at you, LK, for what you've got in your backpack and your hat.
Well, I speaking of research, I actually have a fascinating collection of notes regarding the nature of the dialect used on the roamers, and you would start filtering through them and almost lecturing again.
Mahar would be happy, but Rangrim would interrupt you and be like, no, things like armor, rope, chains. You got stuff like that on you?
Chains and rope are really more of Chauncey's thing. I mostly take notes.
I'll leave those in the bedroom.
Mahar will sort of look closely at your hat and be like, is that magical? You've got an enchantment on that.
It is. And he would kind of take it off and probably absentmindedly take it off while the rabbit's still sitting on his head inside it, and he would kind of start looking at it.
Oh, is it a hat of Holden?
And no, this is a hat of arcane magic.
Oh.
It gives me a modicum of focus when it comes to dealing with arcane matters.
Hey, I don't wear hats myself. I've got too many magic necklaces. I got this, and he sort of takes out a little sack from his back and opens it up and holds out a sort of a floppy wizard hat. And he's like, I really got no need for this. This might be helpful for you. This is a holding hat.
Oh.
And explains that this is a bag of holding in a hat.
Cool.
It has a special feature for giving creatures placed inside only 10 minutes of air, except for wizards familiars who can breathe within the hat indefinitely.
Oh,
Wow.
So you really can pull a rabbit out of your hat.
Question about that hat. Can LK fit inside?
Probably not past the shoulders.
although if
Right.
we could manage to shrink people, we can suffocate people in the bag, and they have to succeed on DC attempts to get out.
13's not too hard, but
Now I'm just wondering if LK can like pull it up like pants and have Harvey fly him around.
I never thought about
That's-
that.
It's a really weird image.
Well, this is certainly handy. I think we may have found you a new home, Harvey. And he would kind of like turn the hat upside down and entreat Harvey to jump in. And Harvey's like, hey, yeah, it looks good in there. Yeah.
Hey, let's go to jacuzzi. Within the next about an hour from the plane, you get to sort of a break in the trees, and you can see the full mountainside around. There are a few birds flying in the air, but it's mostly just this idyllic, almost Swiss, fantasy Swiss mountain. And perched on sort of a far lower peak, there is a monastery. Rangrim points at that and says, "Oh, that's the, what's its name? The Heron Peak Monastery. They hired us to get this roamer to them. It's kind of strange. They, pretty secluded and don't really get out much, but hey, they bought the roamer, so..."
Why particularly is that strange to you?
Well, if you, never leave your home, why do you need a roamer?
Are we looking for like a person in particular, or do we just leave at the doorstep?
Oh, we'll go up, the man's name is, Kovit. He leads the monastery, he's the elder. He's the one who bought it, so we'll bring it to him and then head back to Yafri. Shouldn't take more than a day.
So, if they never leave their home, how did they get this order to you?
We came in. I think it was a few weeks ago. 2 other agents came in, did some mapping, and talked to the people there. That's how they learned they needed the roamer.
Is it fairly common for people of the plains to purchase roamers from the Inquiration?
Aye, we don't charge too often, charge too much, but when it's needed, we pass them along. Not many people know how to make the roamers. Something only Vava Hargava knows how to do. As you guys continue on, you spot some particularly interesting plants. They're sort of the only thing that doesn't look like it's from the material plane, and they're sort of like ivy bushes that have, or ivy vines that are sort of creeping up a couple trees, and they are bright, vibrant pink. Mahar will sort of point to them and, you're an alchemist, right? Chauncey?
How do you know that?
Well, you handed out a bunch of potions to your friends.
Well, then, yes, I am.
That stuff's pretty good. It's called peaceful plants. It's
Do they fit into a pipe?
that they do, but you wouldn't want to breathe the smoke because you can get pretty bad diseases from them. It's worth a bit on the alchemist market.
Did he really slip?
A little bit. And you've also been noticing that Mahar's been coughing a lot while he's here, but he'll probably just sort of say, like, I'm not used to this mountain air.
Well, if it's not actually a problem, I'm not gonna... Like, if he doesn't ask for help, I'm not gonna give him help.
Yeah, no, he's... pushes it away.
I have a question for you. Perhaps you have experienced other things that do not require these Romas that are able to move between planes? Are the Romas the only means of moving between planes? Are there other creatures, perhaps, that are able to do so?
Aye. There's, aether spiders. They're son of a bitch. They can travel through. It's actually ether spider venom that gets the roamers to work how they work. At least that's what I think. Also, the demigods, they themselves probably can travel the planes. But it's rare to meet one of them. You got planes the size of whole planets. One guy's not gonna be around much. Anyway, let's get going before it gets dark. We probably don't want to spend the night at the monastery. Probably not many pubs or brothels you can find with a bunch of monks.
Although they probably have a considerable library.
Aye, but maybe.
Oh,
They kinda
any
looks at-
monasteries I've been to, they only need the one book.
As you progress onwards, you finally make it to the Heron Monastery. Khanom is a sort of a massive blue. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's a massive kind of fortress. There's a number of different buildings all kind of smushed together. Everything has a sort of a blue scheme. All of the people inside, the front doors are wide open. All of the people inside are wearing the same sort of blue robes, though you do notice a few sort of farmers and a few merchants sort of milling about. As you look down the hill beyond the monastery, you can see some very large farms sort of in steps on the side of the hill. The most important thing for Grace Song is that you spot a small stream on this southern wall right... let me ping it. On the southern wall right here, you see a sort of a crack in the wall where a little bit of water is trickling through. It matches exactly a painting you have from Atya.
I will take mental note of that.
Rangrim and Mahar sort of stroll in. They sort of nod to a couple people who seem to recognize them. And he says, well, do you guys want to wait here? Or do you want to meet the leader of this monastery?
We should probably not pass up. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Zachary is just going to look at Elke, kind of take his cue.
We probably shouldn't pass up the opportunity to interact with anybody here. There's certainly something we can learn from everyone.
Just out of curiosity, this Vulpine farmer, is it actually a fox or just has fox-like features?
Just fox-like features.
Gotcha.
All of the people here seem to be human.
Gotcha. Just curious.
As you guys go into sort of the main shop region, you are bumped into by one of the merchants. He bumps into you, Chauncey, and kind of steps back and is like, I'm very sorry, sir.
I'm gonna pat myself down to make sure he didn't lift anything.
I did not steal any of your gold, sir.
You just stole everything else. Out of character.
But
I'm just sitting there with just a handful of gold, my pack, my bandoliers, everything's just gone.
But you look like a man of wisdom. Perhaps you would like to see my
You've
wares.
got good eyes. Of
You're
course, I'd love
talking-
to see your eyes, your wares.
Talking about the same person.
He sort of guides you to this table, which is full of various berries, fruits, and vegetables. Very waxy-looking fruits. Waxy in that he's also fashioned candles out of some of them. And he says, these are special Bois Khanom candle fruits. They're very healthy, and they last all night. A man like you knows the importance of such light sources.
Well, of course I do. I have a whole array of scented candles at home.
LK, more interesting for you, you notice that there are, on the other desk, a lot of arcane reagents. And in particular, there is a pile of scrolls. They look like spell scrolls because they're sort of stacked in a certain case.
And is this the same merchant that bumped into Chauncey, like his stand?
It seems that the two people are sharing a stand.
So there's somebody manning the booth at which the scroll pile is present?
Yeah, the withered merchant.
Okay, yeah, as they're interacting, I would kind of mosey over there and probably start being very interested in it.
She is a lot less fake about her selling, and she kind of looks you up and down and is like, hello, you... Actually, have you put on the wizard hat?
No, he's probably got his top hat thing on.
Okay.
Still. The wizard hat's probably like sitting. It's probably exposed. It's like probably sitting on like the side of him or something, clipped to his side or on a bag.
I can imagine it's got like a neck strap, and you've got it sort of on your back, tied around your neck a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Sort of like some people who have two pairs of sunglasses.
Yeah, I'm picturing, since it's a hat of holding, he does like those Russian dolls with just a bunch of different hats.
Yeah, take one hat off and put it back. So she sort of looks you up and down and is like, are you a spellcaster?
I'm rather new to the craft, but I do possess a modicum of talent.
Well, if there's anything you see here that you like, please ask me.
And he would start, I guess, rifling kind of through them and kind of like poking around at what he can see. What is in the pile that I can see?
Mostly it's various sundries, sort of just the things that you'd find in a spell component pouch. Nothing of particular value unless you bought a whole pouch of them. But there's also the spell scrolls.
Are the spell scrolls accessible, or do I need to ask her for them?
You'd have to ask her for them.
Fair enough. You've quite the selection of components here, as well as scrolls. I would be interested to know what you have by way of spell scroll. I'm rather interested in particular in notation, and he would start kind of rambling about his research as he does.
I'd like you to make me an Arcana check as you ramble.
While he's doing that, is there any like black candles? Like I'm thinking like presents for like a goth girlfriend.
You might be able to find something that is at least like blood red.
But
Alright, so if I do find one of those, I'm gonna be like, hey, Daddy Greystone, can I please have some money?
I suspect you're inquiring more from Krenari, but I do have some coin on me.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to push the candle salesman's attention to Greysong while I swipe one of these candles.
He'll look away, and look sort of expectantly at Greysong and says, I'm selling them just for a silver apiece. So first I'm gonna do LK's, because you rolled a 17 Arcana. That's actually good enough that she's impressed at your knowledge. And she goes, you remind me of my son. Well, you remind me of a very short version of my son. He went off to become a traveling magician as well. Perhaps you would like one of these. And she hands you a spell scroll, and it's labeled in Celestial. Do you speak that?
I do not.
She'll tell you it is the False Life spell.
Intriguing. Is that the 10 temporary hit points? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I forget what it does in Pathfinder.
Spell. I think it's a necromantic 10 temporary hit point spell. Level 2?
6 plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
Right.
Yeah, level 2.
Oh, and I think it is necromantic. Fascinating. Degree of necromancy here, and he would start kind of like picking through it. Tell me, how much do you sell these for?
Oh, that is a really good question. Give me one sec. She would sell them a little bit more expensive than the typical price that you're used to for a second level spell. If Google will quickly tell me spell scroll cost. Casting a spell from a scroll. Scroll statistics. So she'd sell them at about 14 gold per piece.
And what do we have, like, total? What is our net worth? That is seemingly like 50% of our net worth.
Yeah, I don't know how much you guys have.
15. You said 15 gold. We
Yeah.
got 30 gold last session. I don't know what we have beyond that because Greysong has not been keeping the inventory.
Oh, Kranari had it, right?
Yeah.
I can look at Kranari's page.
Greysong has 30, but
I think there was...
Inventory. Kranari has not written down the gold on their page.
Sounds like we need another inventory.
70
keeper.
gold. 70 gold from the Stone Ogre, for sure.
Okay.
And then whatever else. So first, while I'm kind of talking to them, do I notice either... So can I get a perception check to see if I notice what the movements that effectively Chauncey is making with regard to Greysong?
Well, Chauncey would have to make a thievery check right now, and it's versus everybody's passive perception, or perception DC, which luckily passes everybody's. You could probably...
Greysong is innocently pulling out a silver.
You swipe a couple of these candles, they leave a red stain on your hands. But
We're gonna get caught red-handed.
but you're able to, cup your hand a little bit so no one sees it. Yeah, LK, did you want to buy any scrolls? Do you guys want to allow him to buy any scrolls?
I don't
Yeah, I'm
think
all
so.
for LK filling out a spell book.
I don't know if False Life is worthwhile relative to our gold pile right now. It is just like 10 hit points, and it burns like a second level spell slot for it, which are kind of at a
Oh,
premium.
we did get that platinum from the was it Saturn? The Goat Man.
Seven. The
He had
gold.
some, he had some money. Yeah, the body that we found next
Right.
to the water.
Oh,
Yeah, there's like 170 gold value worth of it. There was a lot on that guy.
We can retroactively do this later,
yeah.
because
I feel like we need to reconcile what we have in inventory because I definitely have not been keeping track of anything I'm not carrying actively for myself.
Are we gonna? If I look over at Mahar and what is it, Mangrim,
Rangrim.
Rangrim, do we expect to be here long? How long will this business of delivering our merchandise take?
He kind of looks up, and the sky is getting a bit darker now, and he says, "We should be in and out before sunrise, or before sundown.
How long is that from now?
2 hours, I would say, reckon."
Can I?
Oh yeah, I have Wakunam music. Man, I'm a terrible DM. Sorry. Yes.
So the merchant that's there, do I have that spell scroll of False Life like out, and it's like sitting there in front of me for offer for purchase?
Sorry. What are you asking?
Like, can I see the spell notation on the page?
You can open it up for sure. She's given you one. Like she's gifted you.
Oh, she
False Life
gifted me one.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, then fair enough. Then I won't push that direction any further.
So like a drug dealer giving you like a sample.
So
Yeah.
There's trying to get you hooked.
So LK will take out a card and kind of start kind of rifling through his cards and flicking through them, and then he'll pick one out and he'll start writing down like on the card a whole bunch of almost unintelligible shorthands that only he understands and recognizes, and quite like satisfactorily will like hand the card to her. And, thank you for your time, and give it back to her.
She's gonna look it up and down and kind of scrunch her face, and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not a spellcaster.
Well, I'm sure you'll come across somebody who's interested.
If my son was still alive, I would pass it on to him."
Awkward. Anyway, you turn away.
As you guys walk away, presumably you guys want to walk away.
Maybe she said that he went traveling, and that he just never returned. Or did she actually mention how he died?
She didn't mention how he died, but implied that he is dead by saying, "I wish he was still alive."
Oh yeah, I was just going to make a note if I ever run into somebody with that name.
Yeah, no, he's dead, unfortunately. She doesn't seem to want to talk about it.
Fair enough.
As the lot of you go and speak with the master of this establishment, I would like to peruse around a bit. I want to inspect the grounds. This reminds me a bit of home.
Rangrim will just say, don't cause any trouble."
Oh, I'm likely the one that usually causes trouble, and I'll look meaningfully at Chauncey.
So the rest of you want to head towards following Mehar and Rangrim?
Mhm.
You pass by a couple other small stalls. There seems to be a little smithy who's made no weapons, just sort of metal goods.
Zachary wouldn't be interested.
You pass through a number of doors and hallways where different monks and farmers are just sort of chatting about. It seems like a very peaceful and calm village. These don't seem like the martial types of monks. You get to the actual castle, and Rangrim sort of turns to you guys and says, "All right, best be on your best behavior. We're not really here for any trouble, of course, but these monks can get a little uppity if you disrespect them."
What kind of behavior would they take as disrespect?
Don't comment on them being eunuchs.
I agree. So he leads you in. I've just put Greysong to the side outside here, but leads you into this sort of chapel-based castle entrance. Standing at the front sort of podium is the leader, who is looking very haggard and worried right now. His robes are kind of like disheveled, and you can see that he's definitely like hasn't combed his hair in a couple days. He sort of looks up and is like, "Oh, you're here with the roamers. It is good. I've already paid, right? Haven't I?" And Rangrim's like, "Yep, all paid and ready. Here you go." And he takes this package, puts it on the table in front of him.
Are you doing all right?
Yes, I merely... Well, it's internal matters.
Like internal politically, or did you have some bad indigestion?
Well, it is a issue we have right now. The reason we're getting these roamers is because we worry that we're going to be attacked. It is a blessed day that you have come so soon.
Right, so we should get out of here.
Rangrim is kind of like, glares at you a little bit, and he's like, "Is there anything we can do to help you?" No, of course. You have done quite enough. If something bad happens, we will evacuate our monastery. We don't wish to cause any fights, but, well, if you are going towards the Jupiter portal, then perhaps you could check on something for me. Rangrim sort of shakes his head, says, "Nah, I'm not going anywhere near that." And he looks... The monk looks down.
What's the Jupiter portal?
It's one of the transplanar portals. It leads to a plane called Jupiter. it's simple. You guys came from the Yafran portal. There
And
is
what
a...
is there to fear about the Jupiter portal? And he would kind of quasi be looking at Rangram when he said that.
We have a shrine there. The shrines are supposed to be in view of the monastery, and they keep a light on at night. This one has not. We're curious as to why. Well, I've sent out 2 of my best explorers, but they have not returned.
Would this plane we're on right now be part of that group Zachris joined?
It's not. He doesn't seem to recognize Zachrus's weapons or shield. Rangrim kind of looks at you guys and says, well, your job's done. If you want, you guys can leave. I think me and Mahar are gonna stay here, but these folks need some help.
There's a chance that if we put ourselves in contact with another portal, we may learn more about how to get home.
Zachris would like to help. Yes.
I think
Fine.
Zachrus and LK are talking about different things.
Well, he wants to go to the Jupiter portal, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go check out on this lighthouse.
Well, it's near the Jupiter portal.
Yeah, sorry, the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so...
I mean, you know where Greysong ran off to?
Well, we can jump back to Greysong. Greysong, what exactly are you doing out here?
I am going to walk to the spot that I saw that reminded me of the painting. I will pull out the painting and try to match it up exactly and see if anything with the painting changes, and barring that, I will go and look in the stream.
So nothing in the painting changes, unfortunately. But when you do find exactly the right space to stand, and when you look from that space into the stream, you see the Archfae's face. She smiles at you and gives you a knowing look in that way she has that says, "Come back here at night."
As you wish, my queen.
The other monks and farmers in this sort of area aren't paying you too much mind, but you can definitely sense that they're sort of looking at your back every once in a while.
I will scoop up some water and drink it, or actually no, instead of drinking it, I'll wash my hands or whatever, so it seems like a natural thing.
Do you want to make me a deception check to see how well you
Sure. This probably is not my best skill. Let's see.
Start slapping the water.
Yeah, deception. Yeah, grand 0. Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't exactly your forte, but the
No.
people are far enough away that they don't really...
Just sea lions it, just
Unfortunately, the monks, while they are quite far away, they do seem to have very monk-like perceptions. They are very wise people, and you definitely notice a few people rolling their eyes at you. Back in the castle, Rangrim and Mahar sort of ask Kovit, so, can you give us directions? And he says, well, there's 2 shrines that are in trouble. There is the northern and the eastern shrine. The northern one is closer to the Jupiter portal, whereas the eastern one is a harder trek to get to. Both of them haven't been showing their lights as of recent. They are several hours of travel away, so I would not suggest going now, but if you would like to explore them or investigate for us, I would. And this guy is tired, he is stressed out, he's trying to figure out exactly what to say. He's just like, we'll give you a place to sleep and dinner, and Rangrim just puts his hand on the table and says, "Aye, we're on it." turns to the three of you. How you guys want to go about this?
Well, if they are being attacked, perhaps they've already taken over the one by the portal and ran to the east one, and they're just doing their rounds before actually coming here.
I think that might not be wrong. I think
I would happen to know if they have any giant dogs or something we could ride on.
Kovic shakes his head. Rangrim sort of thinks for a minute and says, "We'll take the eastern one. You guys go to the north one. You can stop by the Jupiter portal while you're there." Does that sound all right for you?
Yeah, we're going to east. He's suggesting.
He's gonna go east.
That was the longer
We'll
one.
go to the
yeah.
north.
You guys go to the
Okay.
north.
I don't know about you, but I don't think we should be splitting the party. I'm sizing him up at the time right now. He has a bunch of scabbards, but no weapons, right?
The scabbards have he has a bunch of handles of weapons. And as you're sort of looking at them, he'll take sort of the furthest one and lift it up, and you realize that it's actually a scabbard of holding that the sword is sitting in. And he pulls it out, and it is this brilliant blue ice that comes out rather than sword. And he says, "I wouldn't worry too much. We've been around the park. You guys should go check out the other one."
Well, I'm not worried about you. And I put my hand in my face, be like, "You see the size of Elke?"
Okay, with smile.
He kind of...
Your one arm is bigger than his whole body. I'd rather you protecting us.
I see what you mean, but... Well, if there is an attack going on, we want to make sure that we cover whichever one's being attacked. We don't know if they started at the east and went to the north.
I'll just hang my head and be like, "Fine."
Sorry,
swearing to myself in Dwarvish.
Well, you heard the man. We can't leave tonight. Hope you guys don't have anything you got to do in the Efri.
Not particularly. Kovic, do you have is this did we learn yet coming here that this is a particular monastic order that follows a particular religion of any kind?
You haven't learned anything like that.
Okay, fair enough. Kovic, if I might inquire, is there some kind of text or a canon of your beliefs or religion here?
Not exactly. We follow a verbal tradition. It is the
Intriguing.
teachings of the mountain.
Teachings of the mountain. I would very much like to learn if perhaps I could entreat you for some conversation this evening before we retire. I have a compatriot that would be tremendously intrigued by your practices.
Yes, of course. Meet me for dinner. I have some other matters to attend to, and you have done me a great favor by agreeing to this task. I have been very worried for the northern shrine is run by my son.
So he's totally not a eunuch.
How loud do you say that?
Probably whispering it to Rangrim, in the process of bad-mouthing Elke.
So,
Just be like,
Rangrim will definitely smile, but Mahar will give you the dirtiest of looks.
Mick, in the meantime, I'm going to be out just sketching the monastery and the people walking around.
Okay.
Very impressionistic.
Yeah, so is there anything else you guys would like to do before heading to bed? He's sort of gotten you guys a room. They have a small inn that typically only has one bed in it, but they've sort of gathered up other beds and other rooms, putting it together.
Well, we've only been traveling for a little while. Like, if we're going to a lighthouse, I think Chauncey would like try to get everybody just to go now.
Well, it's a shrine that has a single fire. And it doesn't really have a place to stay there. He says that it's about 4 hours away, and sundown is going to be about 1 hour away.
Yeah, we don't really know the area. He did say something about food, though. Zachris would be hungry.
Yeah, they'll put together a banquet for you.
Okay.
I mean, I'm down for that. It's just Chauncey would be like push and be like, well, if they're attacked, the longer we leave them, like more likely they're going to all be dead.
The
Gives us more
mountain.
setup time.
The mountain is very cruel at night. The snows come every dusk. It is difficult to survive out there.
Don't worry, I got these candles.
Grayson would be like,
Nah, I'll stay with the group. It's fine.
So yeah, is there anything else you guys would like to do before nighttime?
So for me, for nighttime, the dinner or whatever we have, unless we're going to kind of be in that RP scenario, he'll try to learn about that religion for Kanari's purposes. So he's just going to jot down and take any notes that he can. Might be helpful with like Grey Song's like art if he takes any drawings of things, but just whatever I can provision that I would think from an academic sense that Kanari would be interested to learn about them.
Okay.
The second thing is, I guess I would spend, given magical shorthand, the 20 minutes tonight to learn false life.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Is it only 20 minutes? I thought it was...
Yeah, magical shorthand is, as long as you're an expert in the traditions associated skill, you get 10 minutes per spell level to learn it instead of 1 hour per spell level.
That's nice.
So I'll learn that spell, so long as I do, and don't fail. And then the only thing I'll say about tonight is I will use my arcane thesis to swap out a spell slot, grab alarm, set an alarm on our room, and then re-prep the next morning with my other stuff that I already had.
Okay. Can you pop out the alarm spell? I just need to see the specific text.
Actually,
no
to
reason.
piggyback on LK's idea, Chauncey would do like a perimeter of the monastery to figure out where I would sneak in if I was like someone else.
You think that the best place is this northern building here. It's at sort of the back of it, there is a rather large hill. Wouldn't be, with the low gravity, it wouldn't be hard at all for someone like you to jump over it. Alarm. So do you give your allies the password?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the mental alert rather than the audible alarm.
Okay. So yeah, Grey Song, Zachris, is there anything you'd like to do before nighttime?
before nighttime, though, Greysong would be just sketching everything he can see. Maybe wandering around a little bit outside the monastery and sketching some of the wildlife and what have you. Maybe surveying what sorts of wildlife is about. I use spyglass to kind of look around and see anything that I might not have immediately observed.
A lot of things are fairly calm. Do you want to be in a survival check?
Yeah.
Zachris, I'd actually want to talk with Rangram about his sword. Be curious about that.
Yeah, for sure. First, the survival check. You do notice that there are a number of predator creatures out there. While there are like goats, mountain goats, and deer, there are mountain wolves. They seem to flock and are a very strange gray color. Wolves don't typically have like extreme camouflage. These wolves do. And they move with a lot more grace than you're used to.
I've got a strange question. When I am in beast form, can I understand other beasts of the same type?
Don't think so. The other, it doesn't give you speak with animals.
Okay.
Though they would probably treat you like one of them, and I'd say you'd get sort of like the gist of it. Though it might be a nature check or a survival check.
Okay.
Um,
I might then shift into one of my Arctic wolf forms and go and survey, and sort of see what the wolves are about, and maybe see kind of other things that I would not see in my human form because things would scatter from me, or my elven form.
Yeah. So a lot of the wolves are actually eating the pink ivy. And you wouldn't have noticed that if you hadn't sort of gone in. They are wary of you as you get close, but they're not going to attack. They're just kind of like, get out
I'm
of
not
our
one of
territory.
Yeah, I'm not one of their pack, so.
Yeah. Yeah, is there anything you'd like to do with the plants, or...
I'll sniff at the ivy in my wolf form.
They're sort of almost overwhelmingly of a calming scent. Like they... kind of like a sandalwood, kind of... just aromatic. The wolves that you notice have bright red teeth, or bright pink teeth from eating this plant. I guess
You're playing your weed.
I guess the important question is, do you eat any, or do you take any with you?
I might take some with me.
Okay.
I wouldn't eat it.
Can you make me a, what would be, like, gathering plants? Survival, I guess? Nature?
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah. Make me a nature check.
The same roll regardless.
Yeah, it's probably nature, because like he's getting the potent part, and he doesn't know what that is.
Okay.
Unless he's just uprooting the whole thing.
So, underneath the ivy leaves, there's actually, barbs. Very sharp barbs that, a wolf's mouth probably wouldn't notice, but human skin definitely would. You luckily, get a couple samples without hurting yourself. It wouldn't have been bad, but, surprise. And Zachris, you want to ask about, Rangrim's sword? The specific sword, or the whole belt?
Well, it'd be more the sword. Yeah, the scabbard I would be curious about, but that's magic. It'd be more the sword itself. I'd be curious.
Yeah, he pulls it out and he's like, yeah, got this, fighting some, what were they? Ice ogres. I forget what plane it was. Mahar, do you remember? And Mahar's like, no, I don't remember.
Zachris likes that. Maybe you find another for Zachris.
Yeah, there's, all sorts. Fortunately, I can't give you any of the ones I got on my hip now. We go to a lot of planes and fight a lot of things. This one's great for fire elementals.
Oh, can Zachris see the others?
Yeah, I got this, and he pulls out this sort of sword of shadow. This one is bent into scimitar.
Okay.
And he sort of waves it around, but it doesn't, like, make a metallic slash. It sort of silently moves.
Okay.
He takes a dagger, and this dagger is... It's... looks normal, but he kind of, like, bends it and squeezes a little bit, and it drips a green poison.
Oh.
And I actually forgot to search what this fourth one is, so I'm just going to quickly look at the equipments page. Magic weapons. It is a... What is an eclipse? No, it is definitely not a star knife. That is dumb. He'll just say that it's incredibly sharp of a blade.
Zachris will pull out the Din Madrin hatchet. Din
Madarin. Yeah.
Madarin hatchet, and show him that. So try to impress him.
Yeah, he sort of looks at that. It's like, I don't recognize that. Don't recognize that rune. That looks pretty. It burns to touch.
Yes.
If you ever fight any ghosts,
Zachary will laugh. That's funny that he did that.
Mahara is just sort of sitting at the table, just like he's talking about weapons again. You can just, Chauncey, I imagine you come back and you're in the area and you just see Mahar like mouthing, "Don't talk about armor, don't talk about armor, don't talk about armor."
No.
So as the night progresses, you guys get some good mountain farm food, some very delicious beef, and various sort of grains you're not accustomed to. Night falls and slowly loads.
Not bad.
Most of the people go to bed, leaving the whole monastery empty. Sorry, you were about to say something?
I was going to say, do you want me to roll whenever we're doing that? Just remind me to roll for the learn a spell.
Oh,
it is a roll still.
Do that right now.
Okay.
Oh, and which building were we staying in?
You were actually staying in the northern building, the one that Chauncey found was easy to jump.
Okay.
Oh, do I have enough materials on me?
Luckily, the material component seller would be able to turn money into the proper inks.
Okay, so do you want me to roll, see if it's success, and then sort that out with the materials once we have it?
Yeah.
Okay. So he will 100% guidance himself. And then his bonus is +2. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Do you want to hero point that?
Dang.
Man, hero point just to learn a spell.
Jeez.
I'm gonna have to wait. The trick of it is on failure. What is it? Oh, on failure I gotta wait another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Man, that's lame. That's a plus what? That's
Plus
14, 15.
Yeah.
Man, come on.
Welcome to my last week.
Sorry, no, that should be 33.
That's a little bit better, yes.
Yeah, that's just a touch better. You go from 1 to a 19.
So that's crit success and half the materials.
Jeez.
Nice.
So three. We need to buy 3 gold worth of.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. I won't have you roleplay that.
Is it possible to like set up a trap at where I think I would be able to jump over?
Yeah, you'd be able to maybe spend a couple silver at the smithy.
Well, I've got a bunch of stuff on me that I could probably use. Maybe just like a tripwire using my rope. Maybe use the oil to like, I guess, slide, make it nice and slippery. So if they did get up there, they'd fall off the roof.
Yeah, 100%. Make me a crafting check to see how optimally you do this. Okay, that's pretty good. They'd have to. Anyone who tries to break in would have to make a DC 19 reflex save. Or fall. So as everyone goes to bed, there's a few lanterns that are still lit, giving off this sort of reddish yellow light. Greysong, would you want to try and sneak out?
Yeah, when I think everybody... I'm going to listen very carefully when everybody sort of sounds like they're asleep. And yeah, I'll slip out.
Okay.
Being careful to not set off the alarm by using the passphrase.
Yeah, I'm calling it now. We're going to be trying to come back to the monastery, and we're going to forget about that trap.
Do you want to make me a stealth check?
Yes. Oh, that took a little bit to come up with the...
18? So now I have to look at everyone's passive perceptions. Everybody kind of wakes up. You very silently move through, but Zachary is just a little bit too perceptive. So I presume you guys are sort of in these, you're in a large room. There's a bunch of floor beds, like soft blankets that you've been set up with.
I'm assuming there's no bathroom in here, though.
Everybody wakes up at an 18?
Everyone's got a 9 or better. So, yeah. Unfortunately,
Surprising.
just
But
just
I'm
the people
assuming
in this room.
there's no bathroom in this room, right?
Not in the room, no.
Yeah, so if he's going to the bathroom or like stepping out, that's what I'm gonna picture.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, if he's just leaving, who cares?
Yeah, do any of you want to stop Greysong?
Exactly.
It's definitely not enough to wake anyone else in the
Do you
house
need
as you
someone-
sneak out.
Do you need a bathroom buddy? Someone to hold it for you.
Would you like Harvey to go with you?
No, I am quite fine. Thank you very much.
LK will cast guidance on him as he like walks out the door and falls
Just
back
like
asleep.
asleep, like eh. Alright, you have +1 urination.
Have a good dump.
You get back out into the cold air, and it is it's almost freezing outside. Probably comfortable
Oh.
for you.
Yeah.
And you make your way back down to the to this river, which has frozen over. Yeah, what would
I'll
you? Sorry.
settle in on the spot that I saw in the painting, and I saw her image in the stream before, right?
Yes.
I will look in the frozen stream.
Within a few seconds, the stream gets a little bit bigger. It starts to crack and unfreeze, before it sort of spreads wide, almost like rushing around your legs. With a sigh, a woman steps out. She more sort of floats up from the millimeter of water beneath your feet. And she stands and just sort of looks at you with a big, loving smile.
I will kneel instantly.
Darling love, so proud of you I am. What performance of bravery. So awash of sorrow I have been, crying rivers of tears without you at my side. But now the verdant forest has spread, thanking to you. Enough that we again may speak.
I am glad that I have pleased you, my queen. How may I further aid you?
Your cunning is burgeoning. Your adulation honors me. I have a gift for you, my sweet beast. Accept it and bloom. And she puts her hand on your cheek, and it burns like fuck.
I will grit my teeth and try not to cry out.
You innately realize you're given a gift. You now have dark vision.
Nice.
And as you look down at the water, you see that your eyes have sort of the corner of it has been where it was red is now wood. She continues and says, "Your pact is unfinished, my love. Seek out more and more the images made by your kin. Blossom further in the plains, so yet we may speak more. And know this, I love you eternally. The seed time calls our names."
As I you, my queen.
She just smiles and floats back down into the river. It slowly dries up, freezing over, leaving a big wet patch that you have to pull your boots out of.
And I will, Greysong will go and find a quiet place. I assume there's torches about here. I think I can gather that from some of the lighting.
Yeah, there's a few lanterns. Yeah.
He is going to go and find one of the spots and furiously try to sketch his family.
All you can draw is her.
Cursing under his breath, he will return back to the room.
I won't make you do another stealth check because that'll just bring up a lot
Yep.
more conversations about dumps.
Yep.
Especially if he let out that scream.
As you guys wake up, the whole area is dark and sort of gray. The sky is overcast and it is raining.
I should have given you that scented candle.
There's fewer people out now. There's mostly staying inside where it's dry. Rangrim and Bahar come up and give you a little map that they've sketched, and they say that they've been asking people around for directions to the northern temple where you guys are supposed to go.
To Aaron's question about my familiar being able to administer potions, is that a thing it can do? I assume so. I can just give it 2 actions, right? So those actions can be an interact.
If you have, you've given it manual dexterity, then I think for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his ears can do the... Yeah.
I have to look up manual dexterity. Yeah, it can use 2 of its limbs to as if they were hands to use manipulate actions.
Okay.
Yeah, because that would be real handy if I can't get to someone to heal them, or if I go down and it's too dangerous for you to get close.
Do you guys mind if we take a quick 5-minute break?
No, not at all.
Sounds good.
Yes, I do. Let's keep playing.
All right, well, this is going to be a weird stream.
We'll just all go on pause while Chauncey does his own monologuing.
All right, we'll see you guys in 10 minutes.